In today's class, we are going to study the most important concept, that is what projectile motion. But till yesterday's class, we have seen projectile motion from ground to ground and projectile motion from a certain height. Now, today's class, we are going to see projectile on an inclined plane. So, if you project the body in an inclined plane, so that how that time of flight on an inclined plane. So how it will be? So what is the time of flight and what is the horizontal range and all other things we are going to see now. So observe very carefully. So this is the most important concept for a JEE mains, advanced and as well as NEET also. So now if you notice, we all people knows, first of all, see that projectile motion as well as inclined plane. So inclined plane means we all people knows. So something which is not a plane, which is having some inclination. That is what we used to call in inclined plane. Am I right, everybody? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please. So this is what we used to call as inclined plane. Am I right, all of you? And we all know projectile motion. So projectile motion means it's a parabolic shape almost. So now this both will combine. That is what we used to call as projectile on an inclined plane. So means in the sense of, so let me take now two inclined surfaces, all of you observe. And this is the another inclined surface. So with the surface, it is making angle. What is the angle? Let me assume. What is the angle, everybody? Theta. And here also, it is making the angle theta. Now, if a person is present here and the ball is projected from this point, for example, with this angle I have been projected, so that ball will take the path and it will go up and it will come and it will fall here. Am I right or wrong, everybody? Yes, please. All of you respond, Ra. So that is what the projectile motion. It is going from down to top. So this is the projectile motion, which we used to call as, what we used to call, everybody? It is down to top. Now,
Down to top.
yeah, I am suppose standing here. I projected the ball. The ball will take the path and it will come and it will fall here. So now this one you tell me. So this is the projectile path. Now you tell me what is this path, everybody? Top to, yes, please. Top to down. So this is what
Down.
two kinds of things. So first, today's class we are going to study only down to top only. So first you should understand very carefully. So this is very important. And as I told you in yesterday's class, you should remember the inclined surface. Few days before I have taught you the inclined surface. Do you all remember, everyone? That is, you have to remember it. Yes, Rudresha, weight is acting and all. Clear? Understood? Yes. So that is what. So let us see now. First, I will make the inclined surface now. So all of you keep heading down to top. So what we are going to study now, all of you, we are going to see down to top. Is it okay, all of you? No response at all.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So keep heading down to top. Okay. So I'm taking, this is the inclined surface. I hope everybody okay. Now draw neatly, let it be, because here imagination is more things and you have to be understand also very carefully. Now I am extending this also in minus, so you understand what is the purpose. You will feel it later. You'll understand. So this is the point now. So what is the heading I told you to keep now? So we are studying the projectile motion and inclined surface from where to where? Everybody. Yes, please. Down to top. Okay. So that is what. So now I projected the ball like this. All of you observe very carefully. From this point, I started projecting the ball with some angle. So the ball has been taken a particular path and it has been finally reaches to the surface here. Is it okay, all of you? Clear? Any problem? So this is what the path taken by the body. So now all of you observe normal projectile motion. Just I am saying that. So if I'm making this one, so here I am drawing the what is this angle? This is the incident ray with initial velocity u. Then here what we assumed with the surface, everybody?
Theta.
With the surface theta. Now, if you notice it here, it is inclined plane. It is not the normal one. So with the surface, that is the theta. Understanding? Then with this inclined surface, the angle made by this one, we'll assume as, let me assume, what we can assume? Anyone? Let me assume as alpha. What I can assume? Everybody? It is assumed as
Alpha.
alpha. So now, if you observe very carefully, it is started with the initial velocity. What is the initial velocity? Others? Initial velocity how much?
U.
Initial velocity u. Now, if you just observe here, I will say you two things. According to that, you just imagine. So that if you imagine, everything will be fine. Now, ground to ground, just I'm asking you people. So ground to ground, we all people knows y-axis always acceleration is what? Minus g. And x-axis, what is the acceleration, all of you?
0.
Yes, please, 0. But now you tell me, is it here projectile motion is in x-axis, is it exactly parallel or it is with some inclination? All of you.
Some inclination.
Inclination. So inclination means, is it acceleration is 0, Rudrashva? Do you might remember the things which I taught you in the inclined surface? Let it be. We'll discuss that also.
No.
Now let us imagine, all of you, whatever it is, of course, imagine now, always gravity is acting here what? Let me take, for example, this point. So always, we all knows that gravity is always acting what direction?
Downward.
Downward direction. Clear? So this is what the direction of gravity. Now you tell me, as we know, let me imagine at this point, we all imagine like some object is there. Then I'm considering as this is what my x-axis. Forget about the inclination. What is the inclination it is making? Everybody. With the surface. With the surface, what is the inclination, everyone? That is?
Theta.
Theta. Forget about it. Now, I'm considering this is my x-axis. Imagine just like rotate the xy axis by theta degrees. Understand, Rudreswa? In an anti-clockwise direction. Clockwise or anti-clockwise. Just imagine. Rotate the x and y direction in theta degrees in anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise means what? Like this or like this direction or like this direction? Anti-clockwise means what I drawn is correct. Am I right, all of you? Observe very
Yes, sir.
carefully. So rotate, what I am taking to observe. Rotate xy axis by theta degrees. What is that? Clockwise or anti-clockwise? Others?
Anti-clock.
Okay. So now if you observe, along the incline, that is what x-axis will come. Am I right or wrong? Along the incline. Suppose if I rotate this one towards the theta angle, then this is only become like a normal ground to ground. Am I right or wrong, everybody? Just theta angle I'm making theta degrees, I'm inclining the anti-clockwise. Understand, Rudreshwa? This will go like this. So this is what my x-axis, and here perpendicular line, what it will come? Everybody. The perpendicular line, what it will come? All of you. The perpendicular line, what it will come, Ra? Y-axis.
Y.
Okay. So along the incline, I have to make the x-axis and perpendicular to the incline. Who is the perpendicular to incline? Y-axis or x-axis? Perpendicular to incline. Check it.
Y-axis.
Y-axis. So nothing.
Y-axis.
Just I am rotating this line, the surface in theta degrees, one along the incline with in x-axis and perpendicular to incline in y-axis. So that I will get, if you want, you can draw this one here also. This is y and this is x-axis. Is it okay? Everybody clear? Understood? Okay, guys. Please respond.
Yes, sir.
That is what. So just like now ground to ground. So this is what my y. Okay. So you want, you can erase this one. So this is what my y and this is what my x. Now, as we all know that I rotated anti-clockwise direction in by theta degrees. So imagine and go back to the statement and remember. So this is what my inclined surface now. We all people studied that inclined surface. So you might be remember that. So inclined surface, check it and tell me if this is what the point I have taken. So here is the theta is acting. So that is what G is equals, or else we can say WG. Am I right or wrong? Mg, weight is equals to Mg. Remember Deshwa?
Yes, sir.
Yes? Yeah, weight is acting. Then with this perpendicularly, what is acting here? Perpendicularly, G cos theta, Mg cos theta, Mg sin theta. Mg cos theta. And with this here x-axis, what is acting? Mg mg sin theta. You remember that? I have taught you that mass, if the mass is inclinedly falling, I think you might be drawn like this inclination. Am I correct? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Here is the body is present and the G value is acting like this. Let me imagine this is the mass. Forget about the mass. Everywhere I remove the mass. Okay, only you take the G. So now G is acting downward direction means, so perpendicularly to this, that is what it will act. What will act? mg cos theta or mg sin theta? Pradosh? G cos theta. And along the x-axis, here what is acting?
Sin
Everybody.
theta.
G.
Sin
G.
theta.
Am I right? Correct or not? Vishali?
Yes, sir.
That's all. So now here also same thing. Just imagine like here. Now if you notice it in the same inclination, if G is acting here like this means, then x-axis mg cos theta is acting what? The body is moving downward direction. So in this point, as we all know, acceleration or whatever it is, weight is equals to acting in this direction. So what does that actually become? G cos theta sin theta. G
Sin theta.
Sin
sin theta. And perpendicularly to this, what is the angle between them? We all knows that. What is the angle
90
between them?
degree.
90 degrees.
90 degrees.
Yeah, 90 degrees. So what is that, everybody? That is what? G
G sin cos theta.
G cos theta. Clear? Understood, Ara? That is what. Now, as I rotated this theta anti-clockwise direction, now this theta will the theta came here. Now in x-axis, tell me what is the initial velocity, everybody? Initial velocity in x-axis. Theta is already rotated. Then here what will become? U. Here alpha is there. What is the formula? Tell me. U cos alpha. And here what will happen? Y-axis, everybody. U sin alpha. Am I right? Like this is Ra. I'm imagining. Now here is alpha is there. Then what is the x-axis initial velocity? U cos alpha. And y-axis, what is the initial velocity? Everybody. U
sin alpha.
sin alpha. Okay. Clear, everybody? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now this thing alone, I'm writing in the form of like, as I rotated anti-clockwise direction, theta decrease. Just I'm imagining like this one as like a XY plane. So all of you observe, this is the most important thing. So if you notice it here, so this is what XY plane. So we all knows that this is plus Y and this is minus Y and this is minus X and this is what? Everybody? This is plus X. Now, so a body is inserted, a body is projectile with the angle. We all knows that what is the angle now. Forget about the theta. I already imagined I rotated anti-clockwise direction. So that what is the theta here? Alpha, theta, angle.
Alpha.
Alpha. Initial velocity is U. So that what is the Y direction? Y direction plus Y or minus Y? Verify it. Upward or downward or plus Y? Plus Y upward direction. So it will come what? U sin alpha.
Sin alpha.
And plus X. Here what will happen? U cos alpha.
Cos alpha.
Understand, Ara? Pradosh? That is what it is happening. Now, if you observe very carefully, as it is not a normal ground-to-ground projectile motion, as it is inclined surface, so we all knows that here, you can see that it is acting in what direction? This one. This is acting towards the minus Y direction. That is what here is an acceleration. And here the acceleration is acting what? Plus X or minus X. Verified. Because the always G value will act downwards only. Right, Rudreswa? Clear? Yes or
Yes, sir.
no? G value always we have to be taken what? G value must be taken as a what? Always it will be acting downward direction only. So it is considered.
Downward direction.
Now this C, in this direction, the G value is acting plus Y or minus Y? It is acting
Minus.
minus Y. And in this direction, G value is acting plus X or minus X. All of you see that. This is positive X. And
Minus.
this is what will come? Everybody. Minus X. Understand?
Minus.
So means at this point, I can take G value is acting. We all knows that in Y direction, acceleration is equals to plus Y or minus Y. This is minus Y. So it will become what? G cos theta. And minus X direction, what will become? Everybody, G sin theta. Okay. So this is the 4 point you should understand very carefully. Now, by this time you might be guessed in inclined plane. Acceleration in x-axis, 0 or not 0? Everybody. Acceleration in x-axis, 0 or not 0? Not 0. Understanding? So in ground to ground, acceleration is 0 in x-axis. But if it is an inclined surface, acceleration is acting always minus x direction. So minus x-axis means, so what is the x-axis value? Acceleration in x-axis. Minus g, respond minus g,
Sin theta.
sin theta. And as usual, acceleration in y direction, we all knows that. What is the value?
Minus g
Minus
cos
g
theta.
cos theta. That's all. Because it is an inclined surface. Clear, everybody? Understood or not? Nobody will answer.
Yes, sir.
Clear, Amma? So that is what you have to remember. Now, so from this one, I will imagine. So what is the initial velocity in x-axis? Everybody, initial velocity in x-axis. Initial velocity x-axis is u cos alpha, and the acceleration in x-axis is minus g.
Sin theta.
Minus g sin theta. In y-axis, initial velocity in y-axis, how much ra? U sin alpha. And acceleration in y direction, what is that?
Minus g cos theta.
Minus g cos theta. I hope you all understand these four things. So in inclined surface, only one small thing is changing. What is the difference between ground to ground and inclined surface? Ground to ground always, or height to ground also, always acceleration in x-axis is what?
0.
0. But here, as it is inclined surface, acceleration in x-axis is not 0. That's all you have to remember. Okay? And brothers, clear? Understood? So this is what the very important picture. You all should remember this. Unless you remember, you people cannot solve anything like calculating formulas. Especially you draw this one. And you can imagine that. Okay, guys? Yeah, no response at all. Ishali, understand? Ishali, Manya and Samya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. Do it. So very, very important, this concept. Now, if you understand this, then we are going to derive the three formulas. Again, what is that? Can you guess, Mr. Monish? Time of flight. Next one. All of you. Time of
Height
flight.
and horizontal.
Yes.
And
Yeah, time of flight. Second one. Maximum height. And same way, range. Shall we start now? Everybody?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you are ready, then you can keep heading. So first we are going to derive for what? Time of flight. So time of flight means we have to consider only x direction or y direction. Anyone? Time of flight means
Y.
y direction. So okay, if you'll understand that, that's over. Finish it. So time of flight formula. So let's start now. Everyone ready? Girls?
Yes, sir.
So time of flight. Very, very interesting. If you solve it, you will understand it. So very simple. So we have to take x-axis and y-axis. This is what? Plus y or minus y? Plus y. And this is minus y. And this is minus x. And this is what? Everybody? Plus x. So I inserted with inclination alpha degree on inclined plane. It is coming and falling here. So we all knows that it is with the initial velocity. So x-axis, what is the initial velocity? Everybody. Sorry, this is arrow message. What is the initial velocity? U cos alpha. And y direction, what is the initial velocity? Everybody. U sin alpha. And acceleration in y direction, what is that? G cos theta. And acceleration in x direction, everybody. G sin theta. Okay. Already it is minus x. That is why I'm not writing minus. But when you are taking to derive the formula, you should take minus or plus.
Minus.
Understand? That is you should remember. So for calculating time of flight means what is the symbol? Everybody. Capital H.
Capital T.
Yeah, now you tell me. So you have to take what? Everybody. You should take time of flight means y direction or x direction. Everyone.
Sir, time of flight capital H, sir.
Yes.
Capital T, sir.
Sorry, Rudresh, sir. I forgot it. Yeah, time of flight is capital T. Very good. So time of flight is capital T. Now tell me, you have to take only x-axis or y-axis? Everyone. Yes, please. Y-axis. So y direction. So in y direction, you write it. So y direction, we all knows that. So y direction, what is the displacement shown by the body? Whatever it is inclined surface or ground to ground, doesn't matter. So y to y means it will take and it will go off. So what is the displacement in y direction? First of all, that displacement in y direction, how much ra?
0.
0. When? Half flight or complete flight? Complete flight.
Complete.
Clear? That is what. Because half flight means we can calculate it. Yes or no? Understood?
Yes.
That is what. Now, let me take now y direction. What is the initial velocity in y direction? Uy is equals to u sine alpha, and acceleration in y direction is minus g cos theta.
Minus
Next, displacement in y direction. How much are displacement in y direction? Everybody?
0.
0. And let me take the total time for time of flight is capital T. Yeah. Now, which equation we can use for finding time of flight? Everyone?
Second.
Yes. Second
Second
equation of motion. So S is equals to, you can verify, ut plus half at square. So substitute it. What is the displacement in y direction? Everything you put y, so that you will understand it clearly. So y direction, what is the displacement? Open your mouth.
0.
0. So initial velocity u sine alpha and t capital T plus
Capital.
half into g value. How much ra? G value in y direction, everybody.
Cos theta.
G value in y direction minus
Minus T.
cos theta. X direction minus g sin
90.
theta. Okay, that is, you should remember that. Next, so substitute it. Minus g cos theta into t means t capital T square. Now, so it will turns into u sin alpha into t minus into plus minus half into g cos theta into t square. Am I right? Everybody clear? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now, send this minus to this side so that it will become what, everybody? All of you observe. So 1 by 2 g cos theta t square, which is equals to u sin alpha into t. Now, something will get cancelled. Can you tell me what is that cancel? Here t square and t will get cancelled. Now we want only t. Then remaining thing will send here. So 1 by 2 will come this side. It will become what? Others. It will become what?
2.
Multiplication. So 2u sin alpha divided by
g cos theta.
g cos theta. That's all. So this is the time of flight formula when projectile motion on inclined.
Inclined.
Clear? Understood, everybody?
Yes, sir.
That is what. Now, so what
Yes,
is
sir.
now? You tell me what is the velocity in y direction, everybody? U sin alpha,
Sin theta.
right? That is what. And velocity in x direction, what is that? U cos alpha. And acceleration in y direction, minus g cos theta. And acceleration in x direction, respond ra, minus
G
g
sin theta.
sin theta. Learn this 4. Now it will over. Now, very important note. Yeah, now Pradosh, can you tell me ground to ground, what is the time of flight? Note, this is very important. Ground to ground, what is the formula for time of flight? Everybody. Others also. Everyone can respond. What is the time of flight?
2u sin theta.
Yes. 2
by g.
2u sin theta divided by what? G. Am I right?
G.
Yes. Very good. Now, the present formula you tell me. So, G in what direction, Greshwar? G in Y direction. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
That's all. So very simple. You can see that. So G in Y direction only we have been done. Now, observe very carefully. Forget about the 2. Now, U sin theta is the actually, forget theta or alpha. Imagine that. U sin theta is velocity in what direction? Everybody. U sin theta is velocity in what direction? Velocity in. U sin theta is in what direction? That is what my question. Not G sin theta. Imagine here like U sin theta. What is that?
X direction.
U sin theta is what direction? X direction or Y direction?
X direction.
X direction.
X direction.
Initial velocity in Y direction. Am I right or wrong, Ishali? In place of. You imagine
Yes,
this
sir.
one. So this forget about this. I am not considering this. This is what? U sin theta means velocity in Y direction. Am I right or wrong? Divided by G value. G
Yes,
value
sir.
acting what direction? It is also acting. It is also
Y
acting
direction.
it is also acting what? Y direction. Clear? So y direction, what is the G value? Substitute it, everybody. So velocity in y direction, what is that? U sine alpha divided by velocity in y direction. Sorry, acceleration in y direction. What is that? Acceleration in y direction.
Minus d cos theta.
D cos theta.
Cost.
Clear? So you got the same formula. Verify it, everyone. This formula and this formula. Is there any change? This is equals to this, and this is equals to this. So means in the sense of, so concept, both cases, either it is a ground to ground or inclined surface, always the formula is remains what? Both the formulas are what? Yes, please. Same only.
Same.
Understand? So this is for ground to ground, and this is the formula for what? Everybody.
Inclined.
Inclined plane. So finally, the concept remains what? Same or different? Remains same, and formula is
Same.
formula is also remains constant or varies? Indra, remains constant.
Constant.
Understand? So 2 u sin theta. U sin theta means, in this case, you imagine u sin theta means what? All of you. In this case, ground to ground. In this case, u sin theta means what? Everybody respond. U sin theta means velocity in what? Yes, velocity in x-axis. And u cos theta means what? Velocity in y direction. So that's
Y
what.
direction.
So u sin theta is the velocity in y direction, and u cos theta is velocity in x direction. So in place of u sin theta, I am writing velocity in y direction. So now if it is inclined surface, velocity in y direction, we people knows. What is that? Velocity in y direction. U sin divided by, and g value is always acting what direction? Downward. That is what?
Downward direction.
Well, acceleration in downward direction. So what is that? What is that according to that? Acceleration in y direction. G cos theta.
So minus G
Forget
cos
about the
theta.
minus. That is what I'm saying. Formula. Already we are saying that it is acting. G value is already acting downward direction. Understand? Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. Just we are saying. So ground G already indicating it is a minus G. So that value is how much? G cos theta only. Yes or no? All of you. So that is what.
Yes, sir.
Concept remains same and the formula is remains constant. That is what is we have to find it for time of flight. Anyone having any doubt? You can ask. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now second one, maximum height. Now you tell me maximum height we have to calculate for half distance, half journey or complete journey. Complete journey means what is the displacement? Everybody.
0.
Knows. Everyone others.
0.
0. That is what. So second case. That is what. So we have to take half journey or complete journey?
Half.
Half journey. That is what maximum height. So capital H. So maximum height. Just imagine again I am drawing the inclined surface. Original diagram. So this is X and here what is will come? Theta.
Theta.
The body is projected with some inclination. It is going and it is coming down. So this is the path of the body which has been taken down to top or top to down. Down to top. And as you know, this is x-axis means this will become what? Minus x-axis. Minus x-axis
Minus
what is G sin theta. And we know that at this point it is acting downward direction. What is that? G cos theta. And perpendicularly to this. What is that? Y-axis. That is
Y-axis.
Y-axis.
So by the time this is the cos theta, and you can remember. So at this point you check it, everybody. So half journey or complete journey? Half journey. Okay. So half of the journey we have to take it. So just imagine I am drawing in a 2-dimensional. So we have to take what, Rudreshwar? Half journey or complete journey? Half journey. So that by the time it will reaches the maximum height. So once it will reaches the maximum height, at this point something is 0. Can you tell me what is the 0? Velocity.
Velocity.
Okay, so till that point we can consider, and then we no need that journey also. So because at half of the journey only the body will reach us to what? Maximum height. Am I right or wrong? That is what. So again we have to consider what? Y direction or X direction? Everybody.
Y direction.
Y direction.
Y direction.
So Y direction. In the therima, if you understand this, that's all. Over. So Y direction, tell me. What else is what? Initial velocity in Y direction. Everybody. U
sin theta.
sin theta. Sin alpha. Acceleration in y direction. What is that?
Minus g cos theta.
Y direction. G cos theta. Now, halfway means what is the final velocity? Halfway means final velocity. 0. Okay. And halfway
0.
means displacement is what? Halfway means displacement. 0 or maximum height.
Maximum height or
0 or maximum height. Displacement
maximum height.
halfway. Everybody. Displacement in halfway. Maximum height or maximum height or
Maximum height.
maximum height. That is you should understand. Okay. So displacement in y direction, that is what? Halfway or complete way? Complete path.
Half.
Halfway. Okay. And here initial final velocity is 0 also. Halfway or complete path? Halfway. Clear? That is.
Halfway.
So now, which equation you can apply? Over. We have to find h now. So which equation? No time is mentioned. So which equation? V square is equals
Third
to
equation.
U
Is
square
equal to u square
plus
2a.
modify according to
UA.
y direction, so that it will become Vy square is equals to Uy square
UA
plus
square plus
2G
2G.
y direction and S in y direction. Am I right or wrong? Am I modified correctly? Others, that is. So maximum velocity, what is that? 0. Next, initial velocity in y direction. Respond Tambe, everybody. U sin
U sin alpha.
whole square plus 2 into G value in y direction. G value in y direction, how much? Sorry, acceleration in
Minus
y direction, Ra? Yes,
minus
please.
G
G.
cos minus G cos theta.
Minus G cos theta. Okay, minus G cos theta. Next, H means what? Minus G cos theta. Displacement in y direction, how much it is?
H.
Yes, all of you?
H.
H, that is what? So acceleration in acceleration in y direction. So that is what. So that's all. You can find it. So which is equals to this one. AB whole square. What is the formula? AB
U
whole
square sin square alpha.
U
sin
square sin
alpha
square
minus
alpha.
2G cos theta H. Am I right?
H.
Others? Now bring that
Yes,
minus
sir.
to this side. It will become what? 2G cos theta H, which is equals to U square sin square alpha. Now, so we want H alone. So H is equals to what is the formula? H maximum. Maximum height attained. H maximum means maximum height attained. So what is the formula? Others? H maximum is
U
equals
square sin
to U
square alpha
square
divided
sin square alpha divided by
2G cos theta.
2G cos theta. Okay. That is what. Any doubt in this? You can ask. Clear? Others? Okay.
Yes, sir.
This one, can I write it as it? So this is the formula for maximum height in when? Projectile motion in what? Projectile motion in?
Down to top.
Yes. Others?
Half.
Projectile motion in what? Monish, Murali. Projectile motion in what? Projectile motion in a inclined plane. Okay. That is what. Okay. Now this is what. Let us make again. If it is the ground to ground, tell me what is the maximum height formula? We have already derived.
U square sin square
Yeah, I
theta
want the
divided by
formula.
2G.
H maximum. Note when ground to ground. Again same. Ground to ground. Yes, please respond. H maximum is equals
U
to
square
formula.
sin square theta.
U square sin square theta divided by 2c. Am I right?
2G.
Yes, sir. That is what. Very good. So now U square sin square theta can I write as a U sin theta whole square? Is it right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So we know that U sin theta is a what? Velocity in what direction? U sin theta is velocity in what direction, guys?
Y direction.
Y direction. So means in the sense of, can I say Uy whole square? Is it okay?
Whole square.
Divided by, and G in y direction. We all knows that G is always in what direction? Y direction. So can I write as
Y
a,
direction.
yeah, can I write this one as a 2GY? Is it okay, Manya and Samya? Others. That's all. So I can write this as a 2GY. Is it okay, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Means in the sense of which is equals to what? Now see, velocity in y direction. In this case, what is that? Velocity in y direction. We all people knows. Velocity in y direction here what? Always you should say that. Velocity in y direction is equals to what? Others. Nobody can answer then what I should do.
G cos theta.
Yeah.
U cos
Cos theta, sin theta, Rudresha. Sin alpha.
sin
Sin
theta.
theta.
Understand? Alpha, correct. Alpha. Alpha
Yes,
angle, inclined surface, and Velocity in x direction. What is the formula? U
U cos
cos
alpha.
alpha. Clear? That's all. So means velocity in y direction means, can I write it as a u cos alpha? Can I write it or not? So u cos
Sir.
alpha illa. U sin alpha
Sin.
whole square divided by acceleration in y direction. What is that? G. What
Cos
is that?
theta.
G cos theta. So in place of that, I can write as a G cos theta. Means in the sense of the formula in inclined surface and the formula in ground to ground remains same or different? Everybody
Same.
remains. Yes, please.
Same.
Remains what? Others remains same. Okay. So this is what you have to learn it. So these two derivations, I hope you all understand. So first, time of flight. What is the time of flight formula in inclined surface? Others. Time of flight formula T is equals to 2u
2u sin alpha divided by
sin
G
alpha divided
cos
by
theta.
G cos theta. So which is equals to
G
ground,
cos theta.
which is equals to ground to ground. Understand, Ra? Brothers, what happened to brothers today? I don't know. So which is equals to ground means in the sense of what? What is that? 2u sin theta
Sin theta
divided by G. Next maximum height attained by the body, which is equals to what? Everybody, u
U
square
square sin
u
alpha
square sin square alpha divided by 2g
2G cos theta.
theta. Okay, so cos theta. So we can replace this one with the velocity in y direction whole square divided by g in y direction. So which is equals to, what is the answer? Formula. We all knows that u square
U square sin square theta
sin
divided
square
by 2G.
theta. Here alpha already written divided by 2g. Am I right? Others also?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is
Yes,
what.
sir.
Very, very important. Because of these two, next range is even more bigger, and that is even more important also. So that is what. Till here, anyone having any doubt, you can ask me, or else we'll proceed. Clearly, you solve. Hope